All right, guys. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mornings with Mayesh. It's Yvonne here, and thank you so much for joining us. Amanda Bowman of Amanda B's Floral Designs and our July and August Mayesh Design Star is our special guest today. She is once again bringing the retail perspective into our series and our conversation this year. Super excited. Last month's video was great. Our Mornings with Mayesh, so many great tips and just great conversation. So if you missed it, make sure you check it out. And today we are going to be chatting about more about her retail program. We're going to be talking about containers, flower subscriptions, software and websites for retailers, shop events, and so much more, including answering your questions as always. And with that said, if you do have questions, make sure you post them in the comments section so that way we can get to those and answer them as we go. While we're getting started too, I'd love for you guys to say hello, give us a little shout out, let us know where you're from. And also, I just was wanting to know, are you guys considering being a Mayesh Design Star yourself? We are still taking applications for 2022. I cannot believe I'm saying that, 2022. Let's say it one more time. So if you've been thinking about wanting to apply, don't procrastinate or wait for that perfect moment. Now is that imperfect moment to take a chance. So I'm going to post the link so that way anyone that's watching or listening, you can apply after the show. So now I'm going to bring on Amanda. Sorry for the delay, guys. Hey there.
Hello, everyone. I thought
you were.
it was just
you
me,
were.
So I am glad.
Nope, it wasn't you. You were worried about your technology on your end, but then it ended up not being any of our faults. It's just whatever. There, the streaming stuff I do, because we do it so often, I do see issues with it, and I do use a third-party platform. So who knows? It could be a whole bunch of different things. But here we are. So thank you for coming. So glad to have you. And you ready to hit those questions?
I shouldn't have said anything, guys.
We're trying. All right, so let's start with our first question. So Amanda, your second video featured your floral arrangements, which was lower flower count and higher labor as compared to your posies that were higher flower count and lower labor. You mentioned the smaller of the two sizes you offer is $60. Can you break down how you price this out? Because everyone always wants to know these things.
When I first started with trying to figure out my arrangements, I wanted them to be easy, not only for a customer to understand what the deal is, but also on my back end. So that way, if I have any designers that come in, I can also have an easy system for them. So essentially, all my arrangements is they're broken down to the same sizes as posies, but whenever a customer is purchasing them, they are getting a vase and they are also getting the flowers designed by a designer utilizing their craft. Not to say that posies don't include any design, because obviously there are tips and tricks on how to make those look better than others, but really you're not getting a ton of labor on the posies. So the arrangements is really where we let our creativity shine. So our cute little arrangement, that's our $60 arrangement. And essentially it is a single posy with the vase and the designing. My big boy arrangement is a triple posy designed in a vase by a designer, and you get a little bit more customization with the big boy arrangement. So before, with posies and with the cute little arrangement, you get no customization. You get what you get if you're ordering online. Like I said before, if people call me and they want something custom, I'm happy to accommodate within reason. But with online, you don't get anything. With the big boy, you can choose between a neutral color palette and a colorful color palette. Still working within, my boundaries, which is I want to be able to utilize what I have in the shop as opposed to going and getting every, new thing that somebody asks every week. Because there's always going to be someone that asks for something that you don't have in the shop. So it still gives me the opportunity to set that boundary. But since they're paying a little bit more, I'm able to accommodate a little bit more in that regard. So So that's how it
Awesome.
works. Making
Very
it easy.
good. Yeah, very simple. And like, is there a certain like price point that you try to stick around for like the vase, since that's kind of the big piece of the hard goods for your design?
Yes. My vases are extremely simple, extremely cost effective. The cute little arrangement comes in the little hobnail mason jars, just because I didn't want to do just a regular cylinder vase. I wanted something with a little bit more texture. And since we're here in the South, everyone loves hobnail stuff. And so that was just instantaneous. Yes, that's what we're going with. The bigger one, I have a little bit more. I normally use the Benoit compote, but that has not been able. I've not been able to get those for a while. So I've been using a simpler, just regular vase. I've got a few different colors of them, but they're nothing special. Like, in my opinion, like, to me, I want something that's still unique, but I'm not going to spend a ton of money on them. I have a ton of different options in the shop. So if someone is looking for something specific, I can accommodate them. But for the most part, when it comes to the online orders, I make everything very streamlined, very easy. Again, I want someone that doesn't have a ton of experience to come into the shop and be able to understand what's going on. So,
Right. Very good.
yeah.
So speaking of containers, I know just from reading Facebook groups and seeing posts and things like that, that a lot of designers are having issues sourcing containers. It's an issue in the whole entire world for every single thing, it feels like. Even like getting a refrigerator, the refrigerators are made, but they don't have a little microchip for it. So they're just all waiting for microchips. So we're waiting for containers. Where do you source yours, and kind of how have you been managing those kind of issues?
Yeah, so we have a local floral supply syndicate here in Houston, and I get a lot of my stuff for them. And the nice thing about them is they do have a lot of inventory on hand. So even if I can't get exactly what I'm looking for, I can grab a case of something whenever I need it. I can order stuff online with them too for weddings and such. But if I just need to grab a case of like my hobnail jars, they have that on hand. But a lot of stuff has been, if you're able to get one or two pieces, you're lucky. Like I've got a few different compotes that I like to use that are from Accent Decor that I'm probably never going to see for a while.
Right.
I even tried to order some simple cylinders from the Dollar Tree, just because that's what I use when I leave things on the doorstep, is the cylinders from there. Can't get them.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Like, sold out in the stores, sold out online, cannot get them at all. I can't even get certain things from IKEA anymore.
Right.
So it's a challenge. One thing that I do utilize a lot is I use a lot of local ceramicists to make some of my specialty bases. I really enjoy doing that because you get stuff that is one of a kind, and it's a great gift for people. I get a ton of people that see all of her. I work with one local girl, and everyone's always asking me, okay, when is she going to get more stuff? When is she going to get more stuff? Like, I can't keep her stuff on the shelf. I have to literally put it in the back for when people are asking for it. So I would say if there is a local person that you can work with and come up with just a simple container that they can make a million times over, either with a mold or if it's something they can throw really easy, try to work with someone. And it's a great time to support a local business and, a local artisan. And even then, even if you can't find someone that is in your area, you can always get them shipped to you. And the nice part about working with someone, local, is you can get something curated to however you want. Like, one of the things when I worked with my girl that I use a lot was I told her a lot of vases actually are too wide for when we are designing, and I wanted something that was deeper and that was actually a little bit skinnier at the top and wider at the bottom. And it is one of my favorite vases, and we use them all the time. So
I love it. I love that idea. So working with your local ceramicist, which I didn't know how to spell until just now while I was typing that out in my notes.
My mom's cousin owns a ceramics store in Houston, and so I was able, like a ceramics supplier, essentially. And So I was able to go to that local place, and she was able to give me a bunch of resources to people who could do what I was looking for. So even if you can't find an actual ceramicist, try to find a ceramicist distributor or ceramics distributor or wholesaler, and they can point you in the right direction too. So
great advice. I love it. See, that just right there was worth all the technical issues that we had already in the beginning. Right. And I feel like we're for sure not like connected to Facebook, because the on the numbers that I see right here is just from YouTube, like on Restream. But we're doing good. We're doing good on Instagram Live. So good. Yeah. All right. So my next question for you is, when you were designing in the video, and I think you mentioned it, do you use chicken wire inside your vase, or do you use some other kind of design mechanic to keep the stems in place? Because when you put them in the vase, they were like just there and they didn't move around at all.
Yeah, so if I'm working in a container that's not clear glass, I use chicken wire, and I use the Oasis chicken wire. The coating that they put on there, it doesn't scratch up the vases, and it also doesn't hurt your hands as bad as regular chicken wire. So I definitely would recommend that. And then when I have a clear glass vase, even my cute little arrangements, I just do a simple tape grid, or I will even just build a bouquet of greenery in my hand, and I will tie that with a little bit of waterproof tape, and then I put it in the vase, and then I design with flowers from there. But most of my containers that I utilize are not clear glass, because I really enjoy using chicken wire. I try to stay away from foam as much as I can. I really, I don't love foam. I use it when needed, like for sconces and weddings and such, but I really try to as much as I can. And definitely for dailies. I feel like dailies just last so much longer outside of foam, because you're not having to worry about the foam going dry. So for that reason, yes, I use tons of chicken wire.
I love it. Very good.
It's a little
So another question that we got a lot was about your floral wrap that you use that showed up in the videos. People want to know, where can you source that?
So there, I'm sure, are lots of places that you can get it from, but I get mine on Amazon. And when you are searching for the type of paper like I use and that you see a lot of on Instagram, you are looking for Korean vinyl wrapping paper. It is waterproof, and I was going to say, I sent Yvonne the link, so y'all should have it with the iridescent paper. If you look in my little sconce piece that I have in here, I actually have it built in there, so you can see that's what this is right here. Yeah. But it's great, and you can just cut it into however, whatever size that you want. I cut mine in half, and you can just, I just use glue dashes to adhere everything together, and then I tape it at the bottom, but that's pretty much it. It's nothing fancy. You can also, I started out using black butcher paper, so you can use butcher paper too. I just prefer to use the vinyl wrapping paper because it is waterproof. There's also Floral Supply Syndicate sells, it's called like limestone paper. It's literally like ground up limestone, and it is waterproof as well. And they have some really fun patterns if you want something that's patterned. I've used it before, and it works pretty darn well. So, but I have to have that iridescent color. It's kind of become my signature.
It's your thing. So, yep. For the limestone paper, you said Floral Supply Syndicate sells that?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think it's just called stone paper. Stone or limestone paper. I can't remember which, but yeah, they have it, and it comes in some pretty big rolls, and you can cut it down to size however you want. I try to cut my pieces as soon as I get all the paper in, so that way then I don't have to worry about cutting them whenever I need to make an order or anything like that. So,
very good tip. I love it. Okay, the other question I wanted to ask you now that really has nothing to do with your videos is, nosing around on your website, and I see that you offer flower subscription. So how is that program going for you? And do you have any tips for others that want to start offering subscriptions to their clients?
Subscriptions are awesome. Subscriptions are what I strive to sell. And so actually, if you go to my website, the first thing that you will see is it will say a button, a call to action that says one-time delivery or subscription. Subscriptions are going to make you a lot more money because they're consistent. Consistency is key. And you definitely want to make sure that everything is still very clear on what you get with a subscription. Obviously, with mine, all I have is my posies. I can't remember if I have my arrangements on there, but I just have my posies on there. It's easy. And I feel like everyone has really enjoyed them. I have quite a few people who they have me send flowers to like their grandmother in a nursing home every month. And it's just, it brings people joy. And I will say from a back-end perspective, you do have to have a really good system in order for the subscriptions to work because there are so many things that can go wrong on the back end. For instance, let's paint a picture. This is exactly what happened to me a few months ago. Me and my girl who does my website, we had a certain app that took care of all of our subscriptions. It charges people's credit card every month automatically. Like I don't have to worry about it. But one thing that happened was we changed systems for our delivery on how it charges for all of our shipping and delivery, you know, those charges.
Right.
And for one of my customers, she wasn't getting charged delivery because of where she was beforehand. But then when we changed over, she started getting charged for delivery. And I had to call her and say like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like we did not discuss that you would have a price increase of any kind. Like this is just a glitch in our system. We will get it fixed right away. So it's that kind of stuff. Even something as a simple update in your system can make it all go berserk. So on the technical end, it can be a little bit more intensive, but again, like I said, it's consistent work and it's great. And most of my subscription customers are really easy. I don't normally have to give them any contact. I just tell them, okay, I'm going to deliver on, you know, whatever third Thursday of the month, whatever they choose. And that's it. Like they're pretty darn easy.
I love that.
So if you're able to do it, go for it. It's great.
Very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing. So we had a question come through on Instagram from the Cottage QC. They want to know how to make retail florists look cooler on social media than event florists. And she's laughing. So any advice to make retail flowers look cooler?
I'm not going to say that I'm cool. I will say if you want to make yourself more Instagram and social media friendly, then you need to have a backdrop and you need to have a good photography area. As you can see, I have my Barbie dream house here. It's very bright. It is, it catches your eye whenever you see stuff. And as long as your pictures are consistent, like for instance, if you have like a lighting setup that you can set up in your studio somewhere and you can get a good app to edit all of your pictures, that's really great. I feel like the word cool is very subjective though, and I definitely don't put myself in that category. I'm wearing an anime shirt for crying out loud.
Well, just so you know, that's very cool in Marabella's school, my oldest daughter. Everyone apparently is into anime. Mm-hmm.
You know, well, I'm glad that I'm cool to a 12-year-old. But as far as like being cooler than like wedding industry, I mean, I always get better stats on my social media posts when I post wedding stuff. It's just how it is. I would say if, you know, kind of going back, if you are consistent with your photos and you have photos that are, you know, eye-catching and you have a good editing app on your phone or whatever to take your pictures, then go from there. Come up with unique concepts that people don't ever, like I thought of the other day, I was talking to someone about the little Barbie birthday cakes. Do you remember those? Or you have a stoned cake, then you put the Barbie in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why don't you do that with flowers? Like, And I feel like someone would think that's hilarious and do that. Or, Barbie at a party with a big flower dress or something like that. Just come up with unique ideas that, no one else has thought of. And you'll get good responses. Like, good content always does better.
Yes, I agree. 100%. I think that's good advice.
Good question. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, we see that too on our end though, too. Like if we share like retail content versus wedding and event stuff, the wedding and event stuff always gets more eyeballs no matter what we do, it's just the way it is.
I mean, weddings are supposed to be magical and luxurious. And so, yes, you're going to get better content because of that. Retail flowers are not always going to get that for you. So you have to come up with some kind of a hook to draw people in. Like, why would they want to like your post? Why would they spend 5 seconds looking at it? Okay. Like, you have to look at it from the customer's perspective and then go from there.
Yeah. And I think another way to be cool, or try to be cool, right, is getting on the whole TikTok game. I have this question for later, but we can talk about it now, because that is the cool place to be nowadays. And you have almost 2,500 followers up on TikTok and a good number of posts. So, I feel like maybe that's helped add to your cool factor, maybe.
I wish I could say it was because of flowers, but honestly, I got bored during quarantine and started making videos about a local grocery store. And I got like 100,000 views on it. I wish it was for flowers, but it wasn't. But having good TikTok content is fairly easy. Again, you have to have a hook within a couple seconds, and you have to have something unique to talk about and use songs that are on TikTok that are trending and such. And, you really have to spend a lot of time looking at the trends on TikTok in order to do well, because people, once they have realized a trend, they want to see more of it.
Right.
So one of the things that if you decide that you do want to start getting into TikTok is just create, don't create anything to start. Just spend some time really getting to know how TikTok works and how the algorithm works. Do some research and then just save the videos that you think that will do well, and then put your own floral spin on it. Like, one of the settings on there that you can do that I love is a stop motion. So, just like how.
Yes, I love stop motions, especially with flowers. It looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's really easy to do a flat lay, and make something really cool happening with it. And you literally just have, your flowers that you have hanging around the house, or your studio or whatever. So that's really easy to do. And the nice thing now is that you can transfer all of your TikTok videos to your Instagram. You can put them on your Instagram Reels, just save your videos and put them there. So you kind of tackling two beasts at once, at least, as opposed to, just having TikTok there. So,
right.
It's, and it is addicting, I will say. I've had a lot of fun doing it. I have that one, and then I have another one for my anime that I've also got quite a few followers on, and it's fun, I will say, but you can get burnt out very fast on it. It is a deal. If you spend a little bit too much time and don't pace yourself, it is easy to get burnt out, just in anything, right? Like, happens in our industry all the time too.
So. Exactly. And it can be very addicting. My husband actually used to have it on his phone, and he got rid of it because he was like spending too much time scrolling through stupid TikTok videos. And it's all stupid, like the stuff that he was looking at, like nothing of substance.
All the time, and he's like, I want to look at cars, and I'm like, I don't want that on my algorithm. Like, come on, get out of here.
I know, right? Yeah. Have you seen any kind of bump in your business because of this, or is just something that you're just working on now and maybe you'll see something later?
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I'll get someone tell me, oh, yeah, I saw you on TikTok, so I followed you on Instagram. But again, it's not like a ton.
Right.
Huntress, I think I follow you on there. You post good stuff too.
Yeah. She says, TikTok brought me so much joy during quarantine.
Yes. It is fun. It is fun. I do enjoy it. And every once in a while, like, someone from the flower industry will get a viral post, and that always makes me happy.
Yes.
So, Yes. Just
Yes.
keep making content on there, people. We gotta stick together in our little floral bubble on TikTok.
I know. Maybe you guys can help me think I want to do another TikTok challenge. We did one when everyone was kind of closed down. And I posted like kind of our first Mayish TikTok. And then for me, making TikToks is really difficult. Like if it's going to be flower based because I'm not Warzar. And neither is anyone on my team and the marketing team. But recently we have help at one of our branches in Houston. So shout out to Houston again. So they've actually been helping create the TikTok content. And then I take these now and I've been trying to be more like just make sure I take the time to take this content that we hear. And like if there's like a nice little blurb, right? Like I'll take like a 10-second cutout piece and create like a audiogram. So it's like a picture and then it has like the audio waves going over it. And I can make that into a TikTok. So it's not with music or anything. And that's the other thing I wanted to point out, like Gary Vee, for example. I think I bring him up almost every time I can get a chance to bring him up. But like, it's not like he's doing TikToks either to like the popular music. I think that's important to do, especially if you want to get picked up by algorithms and things like that. But you don't have to do that either. You can just talk or show things or whatever. So he like talks and gives advice and all that type of thing. So it works really well for him that way as well. But speaking of TikTok, I hope you follow us at Mayesh Wholesale on TikTok and Amanda on TikTok. You guys can get some inspo there if you're looking for it.
Yes, Charity over at the Houston does a great job with all of that there. So
yes, shout out to Charity because I was like, please, I need help, and they were like, yes, we'll do it. So they're great over there. Okay, let's move on. So let's talk a little bit about tech for retailers. What software programs and websites do you use to make your life easier, or you would think about using to make your life easier if you're not using it right now?
Yeah, so I am super old school and I use nothing except for my Shopify. I did make a list though of all of the ones that I am aware of that are supposed to be good and that my friends have told me about. So the first one is Details, if any of you, and a lot of people in the wedding and events industry use Details, I believe. And it is especially good for recipes, from what I've understood. And then there's Curate. Curate is also another one of those that I've heard of a lot of good things about. And I think Curate can be good for weddings and retail.
Yeah, and Curate too. Curate and I are long friends. We've been talking to each other. Ryan O'Neill from over there, and he's actually been a guest on the show a few times. I need to have him on sometime soon. But I know he's expanded it so that way it can be for a lot of different types of companies, including like rental companies and I think even catering and things like that too. So it's grown quite a bit since it first started to, probably just like every other software program. I know like once you launch and it's kind of like the first baby step and then it evolves into something totally different. So that's Curate. So we love them over there. And I know the other ones are great too.
Yeah. The next one that I have on my list is FloraNext. FloraNext is kind of, I think, a lot of retail florists go to. I know I was talking to someone and they were mentioning it. Who was I talking to? Oh, the Bearded Bouquet. He was telling me that he uses theirs. And then there's a new one that I was going to tell y'all about. A friend of mine who owned a flower shop in Austin just started a new one called Everystem. I don't know too much about it. I just know that it just recently opened in this past year, and there's a lot of new things. And my friend Luann, who started it, owned a retail shop for the longest time, and also a very successful wedding florist. So I think she's kind of curated that to kind of go under both umbrellas, if y'all want to check it out. But those are the ones that I have. I think it is important, if you are not going to have one of these softwares, to at least make sure that you have a good system and a streamlined system in front of you, which is what I do. But I think that having these softwares is really important. Have some kind of a system is what I'm trying to say, whether it be online or if it's on your own, but it has to make sense and it has to be easy for you. So go with that as you will.
Right. And I mean, I know that a lot of these programs too cost money, you know, and I know a lot of times people can't afford that all the time, especially when they're starting up. So it's just, you know, it could be as simple as like a spreadsheet. Again, not as fancy, and it won't have all the bells and whistles, and there could be mistakes and all that kind of fun stuff. But it's, again, some sort of system to kind of, again, count your stems, make sure you're making money, make sure your markup's there and everything that you need, and you're making the margins you need to make a living.
Exactly.
Yep.
And as far as the accounting goes of it, I utilize QuickBooks, and QuickBooks can be your biggest nightmare, but your best helper. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's a love-hate relationship with QuickBooks, let me tell you.
I believe you. Luckily, I don't have to deal with any accounting.
Exactly. My mother-in-law is an accountant, so I can't run away, but.
Yep. I bet. Anything else that you use?
No, really just, as far as like the back end of everything, Shopify, really, I'm able to get everything that I need, that I currently need. So that's kind of where I've gone from there. Oh, There's also, there's one more, I think Honeybook, but I think Honeybook is more for event people, but I do have a lot of friends that use Honeybook and they're very happy with it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very good. Very good. I wanted to move on because, again, I was just, you know, doing a little Insta stalking on your page and saw that you recently hosted an event called Flowers in Dough. It's a workshop, I guess. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about that and just let us know how it went?
So it was my first kid-friendly floral workshop that I did. I wanted to do it before school started, and we're literally right across the street from a high school. I shouldn't say just a high school. Literally, the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school are right next to each other. So I wanted to utilize that community and open that up, and have the opportunity to teach little kids and get them to introduce themselves to flowers and such. So one of the things that I've kind of decided when I started the shop, and I have room for workshops and such, I really wanted to utilize that in a positive way. And I wanted to be able to use that also as a platform to team up with other local businesses. So this one with the kids, I knew I needed something that was going to be a big hook for them, something that they would enjoy, because I wasn't sure if parents would resonate enough with just flowers. So there's a local donut shop literally in the same shopping center as me, and they're a very sweet couple that owns it. And so we did little design your own donut kits. We started with the flowers. All the little kids got to make their own. Parents helped, grandparents, whatever. And then they made their little donuts afterwards, and, kind of as a reward for finishing their arrangements. It was so cute, though. I was really nervous because, I'm good with kids, but, you just never know what you're going to run into. But it went really well. All of the parents and grandparents they had a blast, too. And then obviously all the kids loved doing the little donut things. So I've got a few coming up. I've got one in October that'll actually be like a Dia de los Muertos theme. So we're actually going to have a Mexican artist come in and create an ofrenda, which is like the altar that they make. We're going to actually have it built here, and then she's going to teach about the history of Dia de los Muertos, and then we're going to make sugar skull centerpieces. And so I'm trying to involve different people in a way to kind of just give back to the community and not just say, hey, let's come make some flowers. Let's add another dimension to it. And having something unique every time that you host workshops also gives repeat business, because people, if they're making the same centerpiece over and over again, how many times do they want to learn that, you know? So
Right.
give them something else that they can learn or enjoy or whatever.
I love it. I love it. People are always trying to find new ways of just getting new people potentially into the retail space,
Right.
and also building community, building those relationships because that's what business is about too. So I thought that was amazing, and I'm glad that you shared that with us. Thank you.
Thanks. And we never take the opportunity to miss out on a pun. So, you know, the flour and dough thing, just.
I love it. I've actually speaking, I feel like I've brought up my little ones a lot today, but
Okay.
yeah, I've actually, for my oldest, especially, she had a little flower arranging garden party. Like I always host parties
Oh,
at my house. And so yeah, I set up a table and then I had vases that they could decorate. So it was like those paper box
oh,
vases, flower box, is that what they were called? I
yeah.
don't know. Do they still make those? I have no idea.
I've heard
So
of them. That's so cute.
yeah, so they're like kind of these cardboard vases that like there's a plastic bag that like fits in there that you put the water in. And so like they were able to decorate their flower vase. So I got like stickers and ribbons and all that kind of fun stuff too. So it was like a craft. And then I had my little flower bar set up and then they picked out their flowers and they made their little arrangement and they had so much fun. And I
That's
did the
awesome.
whole garden thing. So there was like butterfly wings and a butterfly scavenger hunt and like all that kind of fun stuff that like went into it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
One
it
of
was
the things
so much
that
fun.
I just started doing recently was I started doing flower crown kits.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, all people have to do is whatever the host of the party comes and picks up all of the supplies and all of the flowers, and then they go back and they just have to watch a couple YouTube videos of me explaining how to make the flower crowns, and they all get to make them in the comfort of their home or wherever it is they're hosting a party. And that's one of the things that's actually done really well for me here is because I don't have to physically go anywhere. I can just either I can deliver them and drop them off, or people can pick them up, and it's super easy. So also finding ways to create workshops that are, I don't want to say passive income because there's still stuff that you have to do with them, but not requiring so much of you that you have to physically go and teach a class. So
Right.
to find different ways to do that. Even if it works even if you don't have your own studio space that you can host a workshop in. So
Yeah. Very cool. And then I had another party too that you should tell your donut person about is I actually had a birthday party at a local donut place by my house and they got to decorate donuts and we had donut crafts and I had a magician guy there too. That was fun, but everything was donut related. So it was fun. You know, again, I always keep my parties pretty small. So it's not like I had like 50 kids or anything like that, but the kids had so much fun. So, you know, I feel like you had like a combination of like two of my parties and I was like, oh, I love it.
There you go. I'm good at heart. It's easy for me to come up with this stuff.
Yeah, I love it. So fun. So fun. And I love just getting kids. I love, especially this stood out too, that what you did was because of just getting flowers into little people's hands, you know, like just kind of getting them to start loving flowers at a young age, I think is really important, you know, especially if we want to kind of cultivate that. So I know that's not why you did that, but I like it because, you know, I think kids
it's
love
important.
it.
Yeah, well, and I think it's important for kids to be exposed at least to, if not flowers themselves, but how plants work and how all of that, you know, kind of works in the real world. Like so each of the kids got like a little educational packet and included, okay, where do flowers come from? Well, they come from plants. Well, what defines a plant? What do we need in order to create flowers? That kind of thing. So it all came as like an educational thing. It wasn't just, okay, here's your flowers. Like, let's do it. I try to make it to where the kids are learning something as well. And that's, I think that also is important if you are not going to have it just for adults. Because obviously, like adults, to me, they're pretty easy to teach stuff to. Like, I don't really feel like I have to try very hard. But with kids, like kids, their minds are going at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Like you have to keep them focused. And so for me, having something visual in front of them and me talking and explaining things makes a huge difference. So if you're able to create something to keep their attention, it goes so much easier.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff. Something to hopefully think about a little bit, see if maybe you can incorporate into your business. Okay, so one of my last questions, because we're going to move away from retail a little bit. You know, we're like going on 2 months now, so I think people might be like having like, you know, a little bit of the shakes. So again, I know we've been focusing on retail flowers, but do you do weddings and events?
Yes, the short and simple. Yes. So I have 2 different wedding services. I have my full service weddings, and that is where, you know, I meet with a couple, have the consultation, do a full presentation for them, and curate everything for their wedding, the whole shebang, you know, what most people do. On top of that, I also have, because I have a minimum for that full service. So I also have another service, and it's called my Weddings on Demand. It's essentially an a la carte online wedding service. It is essentially, it is a way for people that can't spend the money on all of my full service stuff, the opportunity to be able to still have my designs, my flowers, my artistic eye, whatever you want to call it. There's no minimum for that. And essentially you're able to, even if you're just having a small elopement, you're able to get something nice. And essentially what I did for that was, it's an entire section on my shop. So you're able to see the prices of everything. It also gives people the opportunity to see, okay, in general, what are my prices? Because some people, they just have no idea, and that's perfectly fine. And it just gives them another opportunity to be able to see what kind of money we're looking at here whenever you order. Because some people think, okay, well, $250 for a bouquet, I would never spend that. But then there's other people where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So it gives a baseline for everyone to kind of see where pricing is. So
I think that's great.
You know, it's very simple. There's no customization in that. You literally, all you have to do is tell me your color scheme, and that's all you get. So I'm able to, again, streamline everything so that way it's easy for people to order it. And you can order 2 bands or more, but other than that, good to go.
I love it. I love it. And I actually got a question last week from Flower Phenom. I didn't ask it because 1, we ran out of time, and 2, just didn't go along with anything that we're talking about. But they want to know, how do you go about pricing your events? Do you like follow a certain formula? And, you know, everyone has their certain way of how they price things out.
Yeah, I pretty much go with the same kind of pricing structure as Allison Ellis's Flower Math. So I strive for a 70, or I think it's a 30% profit. I can't remember. A 30% cost, 70% profit for my weddings. And that's for hard goods and floral supplies and all of that other stuff. And I haven't really done too much exploration on my pricing as far as that goes. Even since I came into the shop, I tried to really keep everything consistent because I didn't want things to change too much on my end. But I did recently start using a minimum for my full service.
It looks like we might have lost her. Let's see, give her a second. And while we're waiting for Amanda to come back on, I have the link for Allison Ellis's Flower Math page. We've had Allison on several times. We've talked about pricing with her and with Ryan and I think someone else. So Allison has her own way of doing that, so you can check that out. And she's just really an amazing person, has really great resources. Let's see. Looks like she is still frozen. Hopefully she can refresh her browser and join us. But we're getting towards the end. Does anyone have any other questions before we kind of wrap up? Yeah, she's going to be jumping back on here in a second. So I'm just going to give her a minute. I also shared earlier Amanda's website, and then I'm also sharing with you guys her Instagram so that you guys can connect with her after the show. She's just really amazing. I'm going to post her website again too, just so it's here with that. And we're good. Let's see. It looks like we might have lost her. It's just the way the day is going. Some days are really great and some days not so much. So anyhow, I hope you guys had a really great experience, except for the very beginning when everything was all messy for us. And here's Amanda. Let me just bring her back on. Let's see. I don't see her. There we are. Hey, we have you back? No, it doesn't look like it's working very well. All right, so I'm just going to take over. It's at the end of the show. I'm going to give Amanda a call after this. I just wanted to just wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us and spending some time with us today. I really, really appreciate it. Our next show is going to be happening in a couple of weeks, and I have David Dawson on with me. We're going to be talking about shipping flowers and processing and all of that really fun stuff. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye, everyone.